So I have been doing a lot of research. So as you can see by the title, I've been doing a lot of research into people on the spectrum, and things are seen very differently, but also there are many different parts of having Asperger's. My turtle, she's hungry. What's the time? And she's like, I want food now. This is her. I'll show you. Little Pinette. So this is her. I have a lot going through my mind, and as I said, I've been hair's gone mad. So I've been looking a lot into how to bridge the gap. A person that has maybe signs of, or like has signs or tendencies of being on the spectrum, or being, I've actually been really enlightened, like a lot. Not only have I realised that when I speak to someone that has autism or has tendencies that are similar to an autistic person or Asperger's or anything like that, which I think is all kind of the same.
A person with Asperger's can often feel emotions, but can frequently express them in a heated or angry way. This can often come across as a tone that is unintentional. They can struggle with hurtful and constructive criticism. They can take some time to understand how wording or a person's point of view is interlinked. They can struggle when an argument is shown as a contest of winning or showing that you know more rather than a problem-solving solution.
Learning a lot, and it's actually opening up a lot of doors to understanding a lot of aspects of a person with autism or Asperger's, or tendencies, or on the borderline, or because there's loads of degrees of autism as well. There are a lot of signs in a lot of the articles that I've read, and a lot of the groups and a lot of people that I've spoken to. And there is a certain person that I want to communicate better with, because that's the only issue, is our communication with each other. Something I've really thought about overly looking into, because I didn't really connect the dots, but looked and really read into it. It honestly was like reading. It was like reading our communication on paper. It was like I or we wrote it and then came back to it and then read it and didn't know it was my own words. It's not a case of when someone says something and you feel like they're being blunt with you, or you feel like they really need to get their point across. It's not that they're not listening to your point, it's that a part of having Asperger's is autism, whichever you want to call it, is you will speak quite bluntly and straightforward, and you can have sort of tunnel vision about, this is what I need to say and this is what the conversation needs to be like, and that can be quite difficult for people that are either listening to it or trying or not on the borderline. Rather than it being two people trying to say their point of view, it needs to be one person says their point of view, you have a conversation about that, and then the other person has their point of view and you have a conversation about that. And you can't, it also states in the research that they struggle with the emotional, with the structure of the conversation, facial expressions and what they mean, the tones and what they mean, put into separate sections. They're not as one, as a conversation is not as a whole. You have to keep to, not necessarily keep to a structure. It says obviously that they like to keep to a structure. Asperger's person prefers to keep to a structure of a conversation, but it's not actually. See, I always thought that keeping to a structure of the conversation was just that person wants to know the flow of the conversation, but that can be different because two people could see something as a flow of the conversation of how it started and how it finished in the middle, completely different to the other person. So when I was looking into the research, it's not a case of the structure of the conversation as in the start, middle and end. It's that the structure being put it into sections. So emotion is one section, tone is one section, and the actual words of the conversation is another section. Best not to have two people talking about their points all at the same time, because it just doesn't work. It says that a person with Asperger's or on the borderline has tendencies that they can stick to what they need to say, and it seems the best way to do it is that if one person has their point, you talk about their point, but make it clear that you're only talking about their point of view and not your point of view. And then at the end, you can then state that you're now talking about how you feel as you've then resolved what they've
So here are
had
some
to
of the
say.
sentences that I have found within my research that I relate to a lot. I haven't put them all, but definitely I'm noticing a lot of similarities, especially when it comes to communication and a few other aspects of my life. It's a weird time and I don't really know how to feel about it, but hopefully I will learn more and get more of an understanding.
Well, this is useful. How am I meant to get down that? Yeah. It's good that...